for, 2026 and 2027 beyond?
Oh yeah, definitely. Average Canadian cannot stay at a hotel.
You see, next year, I think next year will be a game changer, not just in Trinidad, but in other countries, because when you roll out of technology and AI and so forth, I can imagine what it is that AI can do. I actually seen videos where it is like, you can't even know if that's the real person talking about it's AI.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's just what languages that we are accustomed to, English and Spanish, but we need to speak tech, we need to speak AI.
Correct.
On that.
Dareem Jeffrey, you was enlightening me about something really important about how small businesses, SMEs in Trinidad, not seeing that potential of really going outside of the market of Trinidad and really experiencing other countries and seeing what they have and maybe getting an idea and taking that idea and bringing it into Trinidad. So elaborate so persons could really understand what it is that you mentioned.
Yeah, I think one of the things where we fall short as SMEs in Trinidad is that we don't travel enough. Going out there, as I always say, sometimes you don't have a bad product, you may be just in your own market.
Right.
For something like EcoWash, even though EcoWash has had a measure of success in Trinidad in traveling to Africa and realizing that these countries are water-strapped, you realize that there are markets with huge potentials for your services. Even SMEs, I remember when I now started in business, I always wanted to have a business, but was struggling to come up with a business idea. And sometimes traveling can give you an idea that's being done overseas, and then you tweak it to your particular market and you come and execute back in. So I think if you're looking for some level of inspiration in starting some type of venture, it's really important to travel to see what's being out there and how you can innovate and bring that back to your market and tweak it so that it has a really good market fit back home.
Awesome. And, I would like to state that a lot of people not realizing with Latin America and the Caribbean is one. So Latin America invests in the Caribbean, but Caribbean not partnering with Latin America countries in order to innovate. Once it is that we decide that we want to go to another country, we think about North America, we think about the US, we think about Canada and so forth. But it's really disheartening to know that I think maybe it's in language barrier that really preventing entrepreneurs to really want to partner with Latin American countries.
Yeah, I think it's in so many different sectors that we fall short when it comes to proper collaboration with our Latin American brothers or sisters. What most persons don't know is that while I was at the airport, I was a translator for a couple of years. So
yes,
I'm very familiar with the language.
Yeah.
I have my certification in Spanish.
All right, nice.
And some of the best movies are in Spanish. Some of the best music are in Spanish. But some persons will have experienced that because of that particular barrier. But as I said, we're in the age of digital Pangea, where the world is one, we're connected, we're speaking one language, whether it be AI or whatever. And now is the time when you have simple technologies that can translate, or you find a business partner in these countries that are bilingual. So therefore, you can tap into these markets. Countries like Brazil, 200 million people. So true. The market potential for products over there is huge. Versus a country like Trinidad with 1.4 million.
Correct.
There's exponential growth that you can experience. So I encourage all SMEs, take a trip, go online, find partners that can help you execute your product. I think one of the things with SMEs is that we also think that we have to do everything ourselves.
Yeah.
Then understanding that you can find an executing partner who is very versed in the language and can execute your plans and your marketing strategies for those countries.
Yeah, and I was even, when I went to Ghana last month, it was so intriguing to know that Ghana, Suriname is right there, and Ghana and Brazil is right there. So like sometimes we think that when we hear Brazil, 200 million people, we think that's so far, we may not have the necessary finances. When you could take a trip to Ghana, which might be just about, let me say, 400 US, and then from Ghana, you could take a trip to go Brazil, and it's not long in terms of flight time. So I think as the conversations need to be discussed about things like this, because who it is really helping the entrepreneurs, as you mentioned, about IPO, finance, and different syndications that they need and so forth, that I think institutions and all too should more focus on business-oriented, because education is awesome, definitely. But a lot of persons these days, they are educated, but when they go into a company, they're not becoming an asset to the organization, and sometimes that now retrenchment comes in because it's like, yes, I see you qualified, you get the opportunity, but when it's time to perform, I'm not seeing that performance level.
Yeah. I fully agree. I think it takes a lot of collaboration amongst many different agencies and sectors because we need to have more flights to Latin America.
Yeah.
Usually when you look at grant funding and the advertisement of grant funding, they couple the Latin America and the Caribbean in one. So when you look at the IDB band focusing on Latin America and the Caribbean,
Correct.
but yet you don't see, even though there are potential synergies, you don't see the direct link in companies doing business with each other. Right now I'm talking to a company called EcoX. We do detergents at EcoWash also. EcoX is in Latin America, and they're using recyclable oil from restaurants to make detergents.
Seriously.
So now we're having a conversation of how could we bring this technology through a license or partnership to Trinidad.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of oil that we take up from different fast food outlets.
Correct.
And then we just discard of it. So possible synergies we're looking at. Of course, there is the language barrier, but it's so easy to overcome in this day and age. Now you have earphones and glasses and
we have so many Venezuelans in Trinidad as well, you know?
And I think one thing is that was, I don't want to say so much surprising, but the culture is so much research.
Yeah.
Brazil, when you look at Carnival in Brazil and Carnival in Trinidad, you realize that we are really just one people.
Correct.
So I would love to see that extended in the business sector also, because we definitely have a lot of potential synergies.
And you mentioned something off here about Colombia, which is so unique with this tourist home, Medellin. Yeah. I think that I hear a lot about it. I hear persons talk about the investment opportunities there, the low taxes and so forth, just as in Panama as well, because Panama, a lot of companies from North America, they come into Panama and they reap the benefits of paying not much taxes compared to if they were in North America. So these are the conversations that we need, because if you think about just Panama as a hub, they have so many brands sit in Panama. Then when we think about ordering stuff, most of the times we go to Panama to purchase stuff to come back to Trinidad to sell.
Yeah. Medellin is really, I think, positioning itself well in becoming somewhat of the Silicon Valley of South America.
Seriously, and also they actually cheaper than Panama though.
Very much so.
Yeah, never been to there, but I have to.
I've been
sometime.
to Colombia a couple of times. Really nice climate.
Yes.
South America, really nice people. Something I think when I initially went, you have the idea of what you think Colombia is from what you see in movies, but very, very nice place, good tourist destinations, very safe.
Yeah.
For the most part, never felt threatened in any way there. A lot of business potential, a lot of business potential, a lot of innovation that I can see easily applied back home here in Trinidad.
Yeah.
But I'm not into tech.
Right.
So if I see tech innovation, I like it, but I'm not going to execute on it. But it's places that can really be a big inspiration to person within that sector who operate in Trinidad.
Understand. Yeah. And as you mentioned about tech, I understand it, not big into tech. Like for myself, being into sales, tech is a tool that helps me to really push forward mundane tasks. Because, for example, when I utilize AI for appointment setting and for summary of meetings and so forth, it really helps me. And then for the follow-up meeting, they give you a summary as to how you should follow up. It really is innovative in my industry in sales and marketing. So definitely Colombia is a place to check out, and I think that everyone should really just look at Latin America differently, because being bilingual is something important. It just can't just learn one language when it is you want to be an entrepreneur, because being an entrepreneur in Trinidad, as we were talking off here, is good. But when it is you want to grow beyond the horizon, that's something where that second language will come in.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's just what languages that we are accustomed to. English and Spanish, but we need to speak tech. We need to speak AI.
Correct.
AI is a language by itself, and as I say, we're in the age of digital Pangea, and I think AI is the language of the now. So becoming versed in all those spectrums of how we communicate is important, I know.
So we talk about things for entrepreneurs, that how they can develop themselves, but talk about some of the accomplishments thus far, because the last time you spoke, you talk about your business and so forth, but what's happening with Dareem?
Yeah.
presently?
So in the last year and a half, competed in 21 international competitions, came first in all
Awesome.
21 of them, winning things like Top Innovation in the World in Switzerland, Global Sustainable Entrepreneur of the Year in Colombia, nominated for the H-Shot Award, 30 under 30, 40 under 14 Trinidad, when it comes to the 40 most influential influencers. Top water innovation in the Caribbean. So you have numerous awards.
Yeah.
But awards is not all we do. Or we don't only compete. We've employed over 56 foster youth in the last 2 years.
Okay.
Some of them were on the streets. We have single mothers. Our top employee right now is actually autistic.
Serious.
So we're really having a lot of social impacts, and very soon we're launching our BOSS program, BOSS, Business Opportunity for Social Shift. Going to see us actively roll out a plan to give young entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs our system support machinery so that they can start their own ventures. But what we realize is that unemployment is huge in Trinidad.
It is.
But places and paying much attention to those who are under the age of 25. Because I think, okay, only the older ones we're looking at because they're the breadwinners in family.
Right.
We have a lot of young persons who are independent, who live on their own, who need certain jobs and so forth. And even with the foster care system at the age of 18, we're kicked out of the home.
Yeah.
We have a foster care epidemic in Trinidad at this point. And we're just doing a small part in how do we help these persons transition out of the home financially. We've given 9 of them so far micro scholarships, so they have their bachelor's degree or tertiary education after that.
Welcome.
So a lot of awesome things are happening. It's still bootstrap. We haven't taken on any investment yet. So all of this thing is out of pocket, but the business was started with a purpose, and we continue to be that social enterprise to not only have impact, but also to inspire other companies to do their small part in whatever way. To just make life easier to live for some person.
And where you see yourself, 2026 and 2027 beyond?
I think it's expanding our impact more abroad.
Yes.
In every country that we operate in. Simple things as in Ghana, the minimum wage in Ghana is $28 a month.
$28. And
we pay.
So is the price of, let's say, like a hotel stay for one night in Ghana? So to understand, like, if it is that these people can't even stay at a hotel or maybe a meal per se.
Oh yeah, definitely. The average Canadian cannot stay at a hotel. I think it varies based on diet, based on what persons can afford. Let's just say for what we pay, say $400 a month versus $28 a month. You can get a 3-bedroom apartment with a maid for that price. It's really causing a lot of social shifts from persons who are in poverty to now maybe in lower class or lower middle class or have whatever transition they go through based on the income they make from to wash.
Right,
So it's having more of these impacts. So far, we've employed 117 persons around the world. In the Caribbean, we're in 3 continents now. We launched in January earlier this year in Texas.
Yeah. Okay, nice.
Nice contracts over there. But it's really seeing how we can employ young persons, employ at-risk youths, single mothers, persons who not only are looking for opportunities, but those who need opportunities.
Right.
And I really believe entrepreneurship is one of life's greatest equalizers. It's no respect of persons.
Yeah.
Hard work is hard work.
Correct.
And hard work.
And it's all about faith too as well.
Faith.
So once it is that you could go and be an entrepreneur, you have a level of faith.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable.
I think that's all you have when it comes to starting a business.
Yeah, it's so true. Because they can't see beyond. You just have to have faith that what it is that you put in, eventually one day it will pay off.
Yeah, definitely. So what we try our best to do is to make our system so fail-proof that you increase the chance of some level of success for your entrepreneurs that you're assisting.
Okay, awesome. And when you think about the car wash industry, because you are in it, where you see this industry, let's say 5 years, 10 years from now, because the demand for vehicles is getting enormous, and it's not just in Trinidad, but many other countries. And personally, I would say that it can never be saturated. Whoever say that the car wash industry isn't saturated, I don't think they understand that these days not everybody can afford a home, and some people will rent, and whatever money that they have saved, they might take that money and drive, and you can't say, I accomplished this at 30, at 40, years old.
Yeah, I think cars are a big accomplishment for most persons. It's a market, as you said, will never get saturated.
Mm-hmm.
We have now legislation in place where we're bringing cars no longer 3 years old, but up to 18 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We have I'd say crime epidemic at this point in Trinidad, where persons are saying as owning a vehicle is a means of safety, so you no longer have to take public transport.
Correct.
Every year, 85 million cars are added to the roads of the world. Now you have autonomous vehicles.
Yes.
So I think, but one of the things I realize is that persons are looking at the direct impact and at the indirect impacts. More cars equals more car wash needed.
Yes.
More car wash needed means more water being used.
Correct.
Increase water deficit. So I think equally as we evolve and innovate in the car industry, we need to innovate in all aspects involving cars, especially car washing, water conservation when it comes to car washing, eco-friendly products, because more car wash means more harmful car
Yes,
car wash is what goes into the riverways and different waterways. No car wash means that person have to drive to these car wash. More emission that you spoke about.
Correct.
So the thing is, as equally as we evolve in building cars, we need to evolve in how we maintain these vehicles. They're just hoping to do our part as EcoWash. So far, we've saved over 54 million liters of water, but over 6 trillion liters of water is used in the car wash industry every year. So we have a way to go. And what we're looking to is just build missionaries and mercenaries, create persons, create entrepreneurs who can further and expand the brand while it becomes profitable for them.
Understood. Yeah, and that's awesome to hear though, because they say, I think people have to understand the supply and demand, and that's where economics comes in.
Yeah.
And you see next year, I think next year will be a game changer, not just in Trinidad, but in other countries, because when you roll out our technology and AI and so forth, I can imagine what it is that AI can do. I actually seen videos where it is like, you can't even know if that's the real person talking about AI. So you can imagine in just a year, I'm not talking about 5 years or 10 years, but just in a year time, what AI could do for you and your business.
Yeah. One of the things we're actually looking to use AI as we roll out these plans. How can AI help us with our quality assurance? How could you use a phone to scan a car and AI pick up on what needs to be redone, what wasn't done properly
on the vehicle itself? That's amazing.
If we have 1,000 franchises, we don't actively have to be there to monitor.
Correct.
So AI is, I find it to be scary.
Yeah, it is.
In the sense that I have to take, I say I fast from social media myself because AI is coming in like a flood.
True.
But I think once we learn how to use it responsibly and appropriately, it can definitely be a game changer for business. Even with our marketing. Now you can create a piece of content in seconds once you use a proper product. That's one thing.
That's the thing. Keyword. Proper prompt.
Yeah.
And I think AI is all about prompting because people
all about prompt. Yeah. That's why I said AI is in language of the 21st century. You can speak, but how do you communicate well?
Correct.
You can put in a prompt, how do you prompt well in AI? I think that's ridiculously important. What we would have paid graphic designers tons of dollars for.
And that's the course in AI, Like some people look to go and do a course in AI, but it's all about the prompt. If you could discover the right prompts, you already passed that AI test exam.
Yeah, one of the things I always tell entrepreneurs when it comes to business, one of the key skills you must have, you must learn how to ask good questions. If I sit in front of a billionaire and I only have 20 minutes with them, I must know how to ask the right questions to get the most out of the conversation. The same thing too with AI. You can ask the same thing in different ways and get totally different results.
So you see, AI actually showing us the way how we should really communicate with persons. That's crazy. Like when you said that that's not there, I just think about it and that just hits hard to the right spots. Yeah.
Yeah, it is going to be a game changer. What I love is that now we have young persons being born into this era.
Yeah.
So this is their language.
Yeah, there's their language. Yeah.
So for older folks,
It
I'm
might
going to
be
be
a bit challenging.
next week.
Yeah.
It's an adjustment for me, but it's something that if you pay your mind to it, you can learn it quickly and maximize the potential of it.
Okay, awesome. And anything that you would like to tell the audience in closing?
As we're speaking about markets, and I say you can have a good product, or you may have a product that isn't doing well. It's not that you have a bad product, it could be that you're in not the best market. Out there's a lot of potential, and understanding business models are important. There isn't just a business that you have to run on your own. There's license, there's franchise, there's partnerships, there's micro franchising, there's selling off your IP. So really look at the different models, look at the different markets. If I can leave any advice, I would say see if it was a trip. Try to take at least 1 or 2 trips a year, not for vacation, but specifically looking for inspiration and potential in additional markets.
And I would say I tested that 100%. You need to get outside of Trinidad and Tobago and see different markets.